Welcome back to Beyond the Award, a podcast by Visions. I'm your host, Danny, and today I get the pleasure of speaking with Michele Dando from Facilis Group. How are you today, Michele?
I'm great, Danny. So happy to be with you today.
I'm so glad you're here too. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and your role at Facilis Group?
Of course. So Michele Dando, SVP of Supplier Relations here at Facilis Group. And my job is to really oversee all of our preferred supplier and partnerships within the community and organization and help support our distributor partners with everything promo product available. So I spend my time obviously mostly with suppliers, but a lot of time working with our partners as well.
That's awesome. I know I've emailed you a time or two from the supplier side, so all of your help is greatly appreciated. Something I have come to really understand about the industry as a whole is the passion for innovation. And that's a big part of what I want to talk about today is innovation, especially from the tech side, because I know that's really important to you guys. So can you just tell me what it means to you guys to be such a tech forward community in an industry built so much on personal relationships?
Of course, yeah. It's, for us, obviously, Syncor technology is our engine, and really the community is, it's really that ecosystem that powers that engine behind it. So technology drives everything we do in our daily lives, as we all know, whether it's at work, on our laptop, or our phone, that never escapes us. So really what we like to do is put Syncor really at the heart of distributor. We call them partners once they're part of Facilis Group, so I might use that one interchangeably. So we like to put Syncor really at the heart of what they do that allows them to run their business, that then frees up that time to really keep that connection with, whether it's suppliers or their end clients or peers within the community. We feel that's so important. So for us, again, community really drives us from engagement to how we grow and how we scale. So the tech part, again, that's what we do at our heart. Syncor is who we are. And that really supports everything else. And then that community drives back into Syncor. So it's a nice little circular community we have going of innovation comes from us out to our community, but then the feedback comes from the community back into us. So we really rely heavily on our stakeholders.
I love that. I love how you mentioned how that relationship, that feedback is so important. So I'd like to kind of start with that, if you don't mind, of what's like some really powerful feedback that you've gotten from your supplier partners or your distributor partners that has really helped you guys evolve what you guys do?
I'm going to big answer, pretty much all of it. Obviously we centralize ourselves to be driven by feedback. So on the partner side from the distributor, it's, what do they need to efficiently run their business so that they can continue to grow and scale? So we have a nice feedback loop where they can share feedback 24/7 with us. And then within that community, they can even vote on it. So if somebody agrees, they can vote it up, they can kind of vote it down. So we build that there. And that helps, kind of build our roadmap along the ways. If something's really popping up, we know it's super important. A second layer to that is what we call the PAC, our Partner Advisory Committee. So this is a group of distributor partners from across all types of subset of our partners. Consider, geography of where they're located, to size, to ownership type, to any type of structure. So we leverage this community, which is about 15 of our owners and key managers, to really help us deep dive on things and have bigger discussions there. So the PAC really helps us out. The PAC is also nominated and voted on from our community. So not Facilis Group picking out, our biggest, people who might always agree, but we really have a nice cross section of the community helping to guide us there. And then on the supplier side, so much is driven by obviously our communication, our conversations, and just leveraging what you tell us in terms of these are the needs to best support the community or best support any distributor. And then we take that back internally and figure out how do we develop, whether we elaborate on our partnership or if we build another piece of technology. So it's really an open dialogue that, again, feedback can sometimes sound scary to people, but for us, It's how we thrive. So I think just a really open line of communication and, never make it hard to get to us. We want to be available all the time to hear the good, the bad, the ugly sometimes, so that we can improve and grow and, continue to drive on our innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that's so powerful is that constant communication, those open conversations of being able to really help each other all out. And that's something that I have really quickly learned is such a driving force in this industry is everybody is so friendly and they want what's best for each other. And I think a forum like that to be able to communicate those needs, those ideas is really incredible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And honestly, as I joined Facilis Group and came into some of our community events where partners are talking or suppliers, seeing people who could potentially be seen as competitors in a space really be open with each other about struggles within their business or, just different opportunity paths and hearing them support each other and help each other in a way that I was like, oh, well, this is something unique to the promotional products industry that we can be competitors, in a space, but then helping each other out because there's enough business for all of us. This continues to grow as an industry. So that part has always just, when I found promo and then did that, I was like, this is the right place to be. This is where truly you can be in a business and support others and, be clapping while everyone else is winning. So that is truly unique, I think, to promotional products. And I love that at Facilis Group, we lean into that really heavily as well.
So to kind of piggyback off of that, how do you think Facilis Group's technology platforms help your members kind of keep that connection between efficiency and building on those relationships that we just described are so important?
Yeah, so it sounds very simple, but I feel like Syncor does all the hard work. We're truly like that full suite of product from CRM all the way through finance. So I feel like Syncor and Facilis Group, we kind of do the nitty gritty work that the system supports all of the inputs and outputs that really have to flow so that our partners and those sales reps out there can be doing those connections face to face with their end client and the supplier. So, and we built it in a way that flows the way that our industry flows. So Syncor was not built and then modified to work in promotional products. It was built with the vision of a promotional products distributor. So I like to think it does all the behind the scenes heavy lift so that all of our members can lean into what we love best. These conversations, growing those relationships, understanding the needs of their clients and kind of able to bring them things before they might even realize. And that's another benefit of, our system in Syncor is it helps kind of keep you up to date and flagging and watching things happen. So you're not sort of like, oh, wait, I haven't reached out. The system is helping you manage those expectations. So it does a ton of work and it's super exciting, all the things it does, but I kind of think it does the day-to-day business running so that the teams can be out, in conversations, searching for new business, developing existing relationships. And that efficiency just frees up that time so that they're not, I'm typing it here. Oh, and then I'm sending it there. It just efficiency there to let us do the part that we love.
That's awesome. I think I feel like the name of the game in just our 21st century world, right? How can we be efficient so we can get back to what matters most and making those relationships and things like that. I know a really hot topic kind of around that is artificial intelligence. I'm sure you're probably anticipating me saying that. So where do you think artificial intelligence, AI, where do you think that has a place for promo? And if you have a specific example from Facilis Group, I'm happy to hear it.
Right. I think it has a place everywhere, all places, and places we don't even realize yet. I think that's what's so exciting is the pace of change and development with AI, super exciting. So right now I see distributors really tapping into those, functionalities we're all hearing about. How do we just make our daily lives a little bit more efficient? Email, looking at our calendar, helping us make sure we're managing those tasks. So I think those are sort of that base level entry level AI for those of us, using it in my own life as well. So I see a lot of our distributors using it that way. And then identifying ways that it kind of goes beyond. Like, how do we make an enhancement on the creative side of our business? How can AI help visually showcase what maybe you just had to tell an end client and kind of bring them together of imagine this piece in this setting with your logo. Now, with a great prompt, you can show them, you might be able to show your end client with that product. So I think, those base level entry we're seeing lots of people use. Now, the next layer, and even for us, is in technology. How does it let us innovate faster with the
Yeah.
team we have? And how does it's really for our tech engineering and product team, it's just another tool in their tool belt of, how do they become better at what they do? So on that side of our business, the behind the scenes that build Syncor, keep it moving, keep innovating, they're leveraging it at an even higher level than us. Just again, listening to our partners, listening to our suppliers. This is a neat. Okay, how do we do it faster? And then layer in better, because now they just have better tools. And then the places we can't be seen, we're working on a data project where we're bringing our data suite with AI intelligence, and we've got a great path. And even our partners were like, oh, we've got these new AI capabilities that it honestly took me a second to be like, no, this is where we were going. And now we're making a left turn. And they're like, no, we're not making a left turn. We're like jumping forward, 6 months because of this new capability that has been identified and built and sort of vetted out. So that's the part that I think in a year, there's going to be pieces that I never thought I would have used it for this. But what I'm happy to see is, our partners and distributors across the board and suppliers using AI now, not waiting for everybody else to adopt it. We're truly being early adopters in the AI game. So that's what I love, is that we're not waiting around for somebody to tell us this is how you use it. Everybody's out there sort of, okay, let's build a plan. Let's execute to that plan. But you know what, if there's a left turn, or in my case, a leap forward 6 months, like, happy find.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is so relevant. I think as an industry as a whole, everyone is, trying to figure out where they can dabble in these new technologies, to see what works and what doesn't, and learning from each other, and who's going to be the leader in finding these things out. So thank you for that update on how you guys are looking into all that.
It's amazing. Like, even in my personal life, we had a meeting talking about, like, how are you using it personally too. We all were like, wait, you're doing what? Oh, wait, I'm going to do that. So again, just, I think too, where our industry leans into the collaboration. So again, why I think promo being early adopters on the AI game, we can really take it to the next level, because again, no one's using it and kind of hiding it in secret. They're using it, sharing, to allow others to continue to innovate along with them.
From more of like a data and business growth, I know we talked about a lot how Facilis Group kind of aids in both distributors and suppliers in that business growth. So how do you guys help members use all that data, the sales data, the product data, customer data? How do you help them refine all of that into easily digestible information to make the best business decisions they possibly can?
Yeah, so a few different ways. Obviously, we have all the data and reporting available. And then every year we do benchmark reports. So we really share out data with, how they're performing within their organization, and then how they're performing within our community, and then what are some opportunities along the way. So not only do we provide the report, but we kind of help along the way, kind of, here's another distillation of that data, kind of, again, leaning on our 20 years of historical knowledge, like, how do we use this forward there? So that's one thing. And then the second layer to that is what we call our Core 360 playbook. So these are everything from, joining into Facilis Group and learning Syncor and running your business, but then it also helps with the analytics side of the data and how do you leverage it in the best way possible. So we like to kind of not just, okay, here's your report so you can run and here's how you do it. We like to allow and say, okay, here's some different methodologies of how you leverage this data. And then layer in the community side. So that's where we come together. We're going to be together soon this summer at our summit, and we will see those distributor partners coming together and chatting about, again, how are you using it? How are you leveraging? What have you found? So nice little layers kind of along the way where we support and give background, lots of, again, just with so much history of what we have, we feel like we can kind of say, here's best ways to use it, but then with our eyes looking forward, here's other ways. And then again, let's lean into AI. talk to your data. It's no longer your data coming out and you trying to figure it out. We want to allow our partners to be able to talk to their data, and it help kind of drive some bigger business decisions.
Oh, that's so interesting. Hearing the phrase like talk to your data, I've never heard that before, but I think that's like a really good way to like digest it, because I know I'm someone who you can put a whole bunch of data information in front of me and I'm probably going to stare at it blankly for a good couple seconds before I actually understand what I'm looking at. So I think that's a really unique take on it, and I'm gonna have to use that in the
Yeah,
future.
please do. We'll make it a thing.
Um, Okay, and then I know we've talked a lot about, especially kind of like the distributor member partner side of what you guys do. How about the supplier side? Like, what's so awesome about being a supplier part of Facilis Group?
Oh, so many things. How much time? But no, I lean first into community. Obviously, we want to cultivate a community of like-minded organizations that are really poised to grow together and grow in partnerships. So obviously, the insider knowledge to our Facilis Group distributors that you get as a preferred supplier, super important. Understanding, Facilis Group is, oh gosh, I can't even remember. By the time I say this, this number is going to be out today. So I'm going to say 250 plus distributor partner, different businesses across North America that all function at a different type of business scale and size and pace. So we like to be able to share a bit about all of those distributors so that our preferred suppliers can be really strategic in working with our partners. We like to think that all the relationships we help foster are very relational and not tactical, like placing
Yeah,
the order. Like that's kind of what we look for in suppliers. We want those, like yourself, that lean into the community, that, give back and, also grow with us together. So that's a huge benefit, is really just understanding who our group is and coming in and helping you learn to kind of build strategic plans. And that's the other part, is that we're here to help, amplify your message. It's not about, oh, you're part of Facilis Group, this is what we should do. It's like, no, what are your goals this year? What
yeah,
stories do you as a supplier want to tell? And let us help amplify that within our organization. Obviously in Syncor, we built the system to drive all those searches and everything possible to our preferred suppliers. And then we just take lots of time to make sure we have really meaningful engagement. So we don't look for engagement that is just, again, okay, check the box. Like we want to make
yeah.
sure the ROI is there. So providing those opportunities to work directly with distributors there, and then just helping automate in as many things as we can. So promo standards, endpoints, inventory, order tracking. We've built those into Syncor to hopefully take a lift off of your team of, answering those questions or emails or calls, and hopefully not a fax coming in anywhere. So we've built those in, and then integrating with suppliers as much as we can. So EPO, we really started that last year, and we are just making our way through getting as many integrations as possible. So for us, we want to be a partner to suppliers that we're, make it a little bit easier to work with our distributors, but then give you the upper hand and learning about these businesses and how do you be strategic instead of just kind of, you can not throw a wide net. You can be really pointed of when you work with people. And again, we always lean into core values. We do a lot of vetting. We look at suppliers on paper, but we do a lot of conversations just to make sure, not that you have to hold the same 5 core values that we hold, but do we have similar values? Do
Yeah.
you kind of, we want the interactions to be good. And then we lean on our partners, when we, their feedback on suppliers, they have got a direct line into supplier relations of feedback all the time. But when we're looking at new potential suppliers, we reach out, like, what's your experience? So, plus you get to work with great people like
Yeah.
at Facilis Group. But we try to do as much, and that's something for us here too, is making sure that we're continually adding more to the ROI of working together with suppliers. So while we look at innovation with the partners really heavily with technology, we're also always looking. We never take what we have today as like, yep, that's it. We're always like, what can we do more? What do we have access to? How do we, again, how do we grow together faster?
Yeah. just a quick recap for everyone listening, because there was a lot of good information. I don't want anybody to miss it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say, to sum it up in few words, you're kind of like that connecting point for distributors to meet with suppliers in that really intentional way and help build those relationships. But then also on more of like the tactical side of connecting all of those promo standards data points to make sure all that information is easily accessible, and that way we can spend more time on the relationship point. Did I get it all right there?
You got it right. We just need AI to make me say that perfectly. It'll be much shorter. You perfect.
No, you did a fantastic job. I do not want to imply that you didn't do a fantastic job.
No. I get really passionate and excited on the supplier side. So thank you for distilling that. I appreciate it.
I love it. And as a supplier, I feel like this wouldn't be a Visions podcast if we didn't talk about awards just a little bit.
Got to.
So what do you think, categories broad, so it doesn't have to be award specific, but what kind of data are you guys seeing from Syncor in terms of trending categories?
So we are constantly watching that month to month, year to year, all that. I would say one big category we're seeing kind of started last year and continues into this year is really that wellness space for end users. So it can be anything and everything from, self-care products to alarm clocks that wake you gently, to how do you have a well-balanced life? So love seeing that wellness kind of come in, and then seeing people able to really take maybe existing products and work it into a wellness space as well. So that's one that we constantly have been watching, and really fun too, because just items that like, oh, I would have never thought about that as a, again, the soft awakening alarm clock with the lights and everything. I'm like, I could use that. And again, not necessarily something as your go-to, but just wellness as a whole, and just leaning into the person's experience has really been nice. So that's one category that we're continuing to see kind of emerge into promo a little bit more. And, this one I feel like is probably not as much, but like footwear and socks, for years and years, we dressed, head to ankle pretty much, in promo, and now seeing sort of that surgence of footwear come into play, and then socks, again, a really fun item. And, sometimes it's nice to be able to give a gift that you put on your person that's not necessarily sized. So, I always think socks. So that's been a fun one to watch and see as it comes in.
That's so interesting. I can't say that I own any promo related. Maybe I do socks. Socks might be one that I have. I can't say that I have any shoes, but so I can't say that I'm exempt. Yeah. And then from more of like a vertical standpoint of which kind of markets do you see your distributor partners and members buying for the most?
Ooh, that's a good one. In terms of buying for the most, we continue to see the tech sector lean in. And I think, as you've seen just over the past few years of managing return to work situations and different things, they have really leaned into making an emotional connection with their employees through merchandise, like as sort of a help to whether they got the messaging right or wrong. It seems so many stories. So I feel like that's been a growing one in the tech sector across the board. Is just, and again, they often are large enterprises. So that's really exciting. But then also to get those smaller enterprises. So that one has definitely been growing there. And then, I think too, just manufacturing as a whole, being that, again, they really put people at the center of what they do, and realizing that, again, just a small token of an item that connects them goes a long way and super meaningful. So those are two that we've really been seeing a positive impact of our products in their industry.
Yeah, I love that. And then, like I said, gotta throw awards in there a little bit. Recognition. Is there anything special that you guys do at Facilis Group to recognize your own members, your own supplier partners, people that work for Facilis Group, what kind of recognition is important to you guys?
All of the above. So
Good
internally,
answer. Good answer.
yes, all of it. And again, awards to me, it's like when I was thinking about this conversation of like what verticals, where is it growing? It's really anywhere that just people are at the center of what they do, and like people are so important and held at such a high esteem. So, again, in our industry, that's great because more and more people realize like it's not just a job, it's the people behind it. So what we do at Facilis Group is we have quarterly awards that are voted on by all of our Facilis Group team members. So we have our core values award. So each quarter, that's somebody who, enlists all of our core values in a standing ovation. So we do those quarterly, and then we sort of have the annual winners of that prize. And they actually do get a physical award and a little gift card to go along the way.
Very cool. Very
So
cool.
that's how we recognize internally. We do other fun things, on teams, discos, and whatnot. And then for our community, we have our TASA awards. And that's where we recognize
Yes.
distributors and suppliers and individuals within our community about just, obviously a year of amazing achievements. So we obviously in January at PPAI, we hand those out at our big event. We do have a few happening this summer, which is really exciting, new for us just to kind of infuse a few in the middle of the year. But that's a really fun piece of what we do too, because internally it gets us all talking, and it's really, we all become passionate about like, no, this is what's happening, this is what we're doing. And then we've got a few new surprises coming out of just recognizing individuals that have gone through our Amplify program. And then the last one is our Achievers Club. So that is our sales reps that sell over $1 million in a
Wow.
calendar year. So we love to recognize them. And then we have another layer, the Platinum Elite. So those are people who sell over $1 million in preferred annually. So we just, obviously we recognize them at the beginning of the year, and then we continue that recognition through the year. But we believe it's really important even just to get up and, sometimes we only get to pick one person for an award. Achievers, everybody who makes it, but picking one person, but it really does start the conversation. And then what happens is a lot of us reach out and just, whether the award is there or not, just remember to thank, that organization or that individual for just an amazing year together. So handing out an award is really fun, but I also just love hearing about the year we've had together with different individuals and different organizations.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought up the TASA Awards. I actually was at the event this past January, and can I just give a round of applause to your guys' events team, because that was so well put together. And I did not go previously. That was the first time actually getting to be there in person for the event, but I have no doubts that everyone prior has been just as put together. So kudos to the events team at Facilis Group, because
thank you.
That is such an incredible way to recognize so many milestones and accomplishments.
Yes. And that, I mean, I get to shake every achiever that comes across that stage, and like the smile on my face, just seeing their face as their name is announced, and then hearing their team in the audience is beyond. So yes, and our events team kills it every time. But I'm so glad you enjoyed it, because that, Vegas it's hard to, you got to put on a big show because everyone's there and having a good time. But that is one of, just again, when I stop and think about being part of not only Facilis Group, but the larger promotional products industry, I'm like, okay, this is the place to be. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love getting to see all of the different ways that different people recognize, whether it's traditional or, something new and fun.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see all of the people like get rewarded for all of their hard work. So for everyone watching, take notes from the Facilis Group team, because they rock.
Love it.
And okay, so I know we are wrapping up here just a little bit. So one kind of final question that I think we should leave everybody with is, what technological change do you believe will have the greatest impact on promo next?
I mean, you have to, I was thinking about this. So I have three things, if I can have three things.
Yeah.
So AI, how can we not say the letters AI? And again, what will that bring is to be known. Just we're really at the start of this inflection point. So I think AI will have a big impact. My second acronym is POD. So print on demand. I think so many people, us especially, are just working towards how to efficiently leverage POD to kind of, again, scale the industry. Let's get past that 30 billion. Let's break that $30 billion ceiling. So I think that's really important. We've got great people out doing things, but I think, again, that will be a game changer there. And then I'm going to talk about security. So we have SOC 2 Type 1 security we achieved this year. So while not the glitz and glamour of that, but I do think data security, super important to keep at an innovative level, especially as AI creeps into our world and, so many unknowns there. So those are my three, but of course, AI, just again, at that inflection point, but those others, really important as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for your time today. I had such a great time talking to you. Um, if there's any other final words that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
No, just thank you, Danny. You make it so comfortable to chat in this forum. And thank you to Visions. You have been a phenomenal partner, and just look forward to a great future together.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.